Hello friends, and welcome back to another episode of my Vintage Autumn DIY series. So in today's episode, I am going to be doing a couple more vintage mystery pulls from my little mystery jar here. We're going to do some pulls and we're going to be adding them to my journal that I've started. So let's get started with that. I'm just going to mix these up a bit and let's see what we pick. I have a bunch of different mystery pulls. If you're interested in doing a mystery journal book with pulls, I will link it in the description of this video. All right, lace strips. Let me show you what the lace strips are and how we're going to use them. So I have a bunch of different random vintage laces that I've put into about 12-inch strips. So you're just going to get a random lace strip like this one right here. And we're going to use that strip along with some other ephemera from one of my kits that is available in my Etsy shop, as well as some other pictures from a circus program that I found thrifting. Now, I have this circus program. It is a local circus called Hannaford Circus. They are based out of Sarasota, from what I can tell. It looks like they have a home in Osprey, which is just south of Sarasota. But what was really cool about this program is that there was a signature from Nellie Hannaford, who was the youngest daughter of the family of Hannaford Circus members. And so I pulled some pictures from the brochure along with her name and the actual signature, and we're going to put this into my journal as like one of the first pages in my spread. Now, this is my own personal journal, and I just thought this would be like kind of a cool idea to add this to my personal journal, only because it's like a local circus that is here in Sarasota where I live right now. So I'm just kind of trying to find the best page that I want to use and how I want to use some of these papers. Like I said, the papers that I'm folding in half right now, these are from my kit. It's a digital ephemera kit that you can get in my Etsy shop. I have a bunch of different pages, background pages, fussy cuts that you can do, and I tried to incorporate a lot of actual vintage images that I put into this kit. So I'm just looking for a good page that we can use. I think I end up choosing just like the first couple of pages of this journal, and we're just going to start from there. So I decided to do kind of like a little flip out page, pocket page with this long train piece of paper, and as you can see, it kind of just flips out like this, and I'm using my little scalloped corner cutter to just do some like scalloped decorative corners on this. I figured this is like a circus theme, so I kind of wanted it to look a little bit more like, I don't know, I think a vintage circus would have something like this on the edges of their brochures or something. So I just thought that this was a cute little touch to this page. Also, I am going to take a little bit of my orange ink, and again, because I wanted kind of that fun, whimsical feel to this, I'm going to do some orange distressing all around the edges of this. And I just don't like harsh, plain edges. I always like to distress them with either like a distress ink or another ink of like this one, which is an orange color. I just think it just adds a little bit to the paper itself. So I'm just going around all the little edges and all the little corners and all of the folds with this orange ink. And then, like I mentioned, I'm going to make this main portion a pocket. So I'm just going to go down the edge and across the bottom and up the other side with my Fabrifix glue. I'm definitely running out of glue. I'm going to have to order some more here very soon. But as you can see, just a thin line of that glue all around. That way I can create a pocket with this long piece of paper that I have here. So I'm just pushing that down into my page and making sure that it's level and even and push down on all sides. And now I'll be able to open and close this little flap of the train, and I can also stick something down in the pocket down behind, like this photo that I cut out of the program. So yeah, I'm probably going to do something on the back of that in just a bit. But here is another piece that I cut out with Nellie Hannaford's name on it. I'm just trying to figure out where I want to put this. I think I ended up putting it someplace else. And then I also have some of the lace, which I want to use this lace since this lace is the item that I picked from the mystery pull. So I'm probably going to put a little bit of this lace on the edge of my little flip out here. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to just use a little bit of my Fabrifix, and on the back side of this little flip out, I'm going to just go ahead and put just a little bit of the glue, and then I'm going to glue down some of this lace just for a nice little accent on the back of that. And then I'm going to just trim off the excess so I can use it someplace else. But now I have a nice little kind of lace detail that will stick out the edge of my journal, and it will also look really cute folded in like that if you're folding it in when you're working on that page. Whatever. I like to do little cutesy ruffles and stuff like that throughout my journal, so I just thought that'd be a nice little feature. Alright, so next what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this little, I think it's a 6x6 or 7x7 square of scrapbooking paper. I liked the little gold background with the white stars and the circus motif on it. I'm actually going to use this as a backing page for my page that I fussy cut of the little girl on the elephant. So I am just going to use some rolling tape or double-sided sticky tape, whatever this is called, and we're going to use this to stick down this image. Normally I would use Fabrifix, but because my Fabrifix is almost out, I'm just trying to use some other types of tape or glue in the meantime. Having a hard time getting this to roll correctly. I don't use this often, so I think it kind of dried up on me a little bit, but I finally got it to stick, and so I'm just going around the edges, and then I'll do a couple of strips kind of like down the center, just so that I make sure that this image can stick really well to this paper that I'm going to put on the back. Now, as you see, I'm going to stick it to the white side of this paper because I want the other side to be the background of my image, because I'm going to make like a journaling card out of this image. So I'm just sticking that down, and then I'm going to go ahead and take my scissors or my cutter, I'm not sure which one, I guess scissors, and we're just going to go ahead and cut this out really carefully. And then we'll have a nice little journaling card that we can use to journal on, and we'll be able to stick this journaling card down in that pocket that we created with the train paper. So now I have my name piece that I cut out of the program. This is Nellie Hannaford, and her name is in this like really fun font, but this is a really big piece. So what I'm thinking is that I can cut this down and make like a little tab at the top of this journal card with her first name, and then we'll put her last name down at the bottom of the card if we kind of trim it up a little bit better, and then you'll be able to see her whole name, and it will work on this card as like a tab. I've gone ahead and just taped these down as well, so you can see it kind of just outlines her in this picture, and I'm going to just round the edges. I'm not going to do the top ones because I should have done it before I glued the little tab on the top, but I am going to do the bottom. So I'm just rounding the bottom edges just a little bit, just to make it easier to slide in and out of that pocket. I find that when my edges are rounded, they slide in and out of pockets a little bit easier. And then just like some of the other pieces, I want to go ahead and distress all of the edges with that orange ink. I think it just adds to this whimsical kind of design, and I don't know, I just really like the orange. Okay, so now this piece is going to go right down into that pocket, and just like that, which I think is going to be really cute. All right, so I'm going to use a few more of my little ephemera pieces. These are some of those vintage images of children at the circus that come in my kit. I thought these would make really cute little hidden paper clips with these little fun banner style pieces of paper that I cut out. I've actually cut these out a while ago for a different project, and as you can see, it's kind of just like a banner that I folded in half, and we're going to turn these into like a little hidden paper clip. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my paper clips, and I'm just going to go down the top of my folded banner like this, and then we're going to cover that paper clip up with these little images that I have here. One's going to go on the front and one's going to go on the back. Now I am going to just use Fabrifix for this. Like I said, I don't have a whole lot of Fabrifix left, so I'm going to really try to use whatever I have left in this bottle. Fabrifix is usually the best option for doing this type of a project. You could use hot glue, but sometimes hot glue gets clumpy under paper and you can really feel it. Fabrifix is what I found one of the best glues for paper crafting because it's like an acetone based glue, so it doesn't give you that lumpy feeling or warped feeling of the paper on top. But I'm just being very generous with the amount of glue, and I'm covering up that paper clip like you can see here with as much glue as I can get out of my bottle. And then I'm going to take my little image and lay it right over the top of that paper clip and just kind of press it down and hold it there until it's really set. All right, so while I'm waiting for the other one to dry, I'm working on this one. And as you can see, I'm putting a little bit of glue on the back side of that image. And what I'm gonna do is take a little snippet of my lace, since I'm using lace in all of the projects in this series today. And then we're going to take some more Fabrifix and put it on our other image, and we're going to kind of like sandwich the lace and the paper clip all together, so that way kind of the lace pops out behind that, or in between the two images, as you'll see in just a second. So there's my front, here's my back. I guess it doesn't matter, front or back, I guess it's reversible. But as you can see now, we're hiding that paper clip, or sandwiching that paper clip and lace in between those two images, and now we have a cute little hidden paper clip here that we can go ahead and put in one of our journal flip out pages that we have. Just make sure these are dried really well before you try to slide them over your little pages. But as you can see, you can just take this little banner and slide it over the page, and you'll be able to slide that right down and have a cute little hidden paperclip image that you can use as a bookmark or whatever. But I think these are really, really cute, and you can flip open and close them. I actually decided that that back page was the back of that flip out page was a little bit plain, so I wanted to use some of this yellow starred paper to cover it up a little bit. So I'm just making these little like rectangle plaques or plates, and I'm gonna round the corners on these, and then we'll just glue these down on each one of the folds, so that way it just takes away some of that plain white, stark whiteness of the back of that page. I have a little bit more of this lace, so I wanted to kind of put it on the back of that little tab. I thought the lace popping up through the tab would look kind of cute, so I'm just going to put a little bit of the glue just along the top of my little writing card that I have that goes in the pocket, and we'll just put some glue all over the back side of this tab and along the top of that writing card. And as you can see, I'm just going to stick that lace right into that glue, and then I'll just trim off the excess, and now I have a cute little lace trimmed writing card. I have a few more pages of photographs that I cut out from that program, and what I was thinking I could do with these is I wanted to take my hole punch. I have a scalloped edge hole punch, and I want to use some of these images to cut out or punch out some scalloped circles, which I can kind of incorporate in this layout. So I'm just trimming the photos down a little bit so that I can fit my press over the image, and then I'm just going to go ahead and press out, making sure that the image is in the center of the press. I'm just going to press out one, and now you can see I have this cute little image that I can go ahead and glue down in my layout. I think it just adds to the adds to the whole design, and I like using these little black and white photos. I think they're just nostalgic, and since this is all about Nellie Hannaford, I wanted to include as many pictures as I could find of her in this program. Now, if you know me, you know I hate to throw away scraps. So I have a few little scrap pieces of that yellow starred paper. I'm gonna just cut some half punches or half circles and try to use up as much as I can of that scrap as kind of just like a decorative little piece that I can add to my little pocket as well, kind of like as a background to these other little scallop photographs. Now I also want to incorporate that signature that was on the page. So I just thought the best way for me to do that would be just to fussy cut this signature out and try to find a place that I can stick it where it is going to fit and, you know, where I can try to incorporate it into this layout, because it's doing no good on this page that nobody's ever going to look at. So I'm just going to literally just fussy cut this out around her signature as best as possible. And then I'm just going to glue this to my page in a spot where I think it's going to look good and just be a nostalgic memory of a family of circus performers here in the Sarasota area. Now that I have everything all cut out, I'm going to just go ahead and glue these pieces down with whatever left I have of Fabrifix. Like I said, I don't have very much left at all, but trying to use that up as well as all the scraps that I have. So I think these just kind of add to this whole layout. I don't know, I just love the pop of that yellow starred print paper. I think it works really well with this little design here. So I've got a few different photographs. And then on the back side here, I was thinking on this lined page, I was thinking this is where I wanted to put the signature portion. And then I can also use this lined page to do some journaling. So I'm going to use some more of this circus paper to make kind of like a little trim that's going to go on this lined journaling page. And then I'm going to take more glue and put it right on that little signature that I cut out of Nellie's signature. I'm curious as to how old she is now. I'm gonna look it up to see, but these photos are of her when she was a child, so I'm assuming that she's an older woman now. But that is the signature included in this journal, and I think it's just a nice touch for this spread. It's just very cool to me to know that I can thrift an item and do a little bit of research on the item and actually find out the history of the item. And like this book, I would have never known anything about this Hannaford family that lives locally. So it's just a really cool momentum to have in my journal. Okay, so let's do another pull for one more item to add to the journal today. Let's see what we get on this next pull. Let's go through this selection here, and we have a cookie cutter. All right, this is going to be fun because I really wanted to incorporate a cookie cutter into this journal. So I pulled out of my stash this cute little mini gingerbread cookie cutter. I thought this would make a very cute charm dangle that I can hang off the side of my journal. I'm going to use a little bit of this blue and white baker's twine to go ahead and make this little journal charm. Now it's really easy. All I'm doing is I'm taking a piece of the baker's twine, probably about 24 inches. It doesn't really matter, but I'm looping it through that cookie cutter, and then I'm making just kind of a little, not a knot at the top, but it just kind of holds onto that cookie cutter so it makes like a little dangle. Now with the beads that I drew during one of the last pulls that I pulled, I'm going to be using some more of these beads since it's something that I picked. I picked out a couple of the larger beads that have larger holes in them that is going to be easier to get this baker's twine through. So now I'm also going to use a little needle threader. So if you've never used a needle threader before, this is like the handiest little contraption they've ever come up with. You just put the little portion through the head of the needle, and then you can kind of pull your thread right through the needle. Sometimes a little bit heavier of thread takes a little bit of time to pull it through, but eventually I did get it through. I think I had to do one at a time with the baker's twine, only because the baker's twine is pretty thick. So I pulled one side through at a time, and then I put the needle threader back through, and I pulled the other one through, or the other side of the baker's twine through the needle. That way both tails of that thread went through, and I could use that to poke it right through my beads and bead that right onto my cookie cutter charm dangle. So very easy, simple. I just, like I said, picked some charms that I thought would look cute and kind of nostalgic and also matched with the color of my journal. So all I did now was I went ahead and tied off like a little loop at the end. I pulled my baker's twine out of my needle, and then I tied a little loop off on the end, and then I just trimmed off the excess baker's twine, and now I have a cute little loop. So I took my little bulb pin here, opened it up, just strung my baker's twine in that little bulb pin, and then I just strung my bulb pin in my little ring that's on the edge of my journal. So now I have a really cute little charm that has a cookie cutter hanging off of it. So it's another really good idea or a good use for a cookie cutter. I love using different things in my journals. Or my journal decorating. I love using things that you wouldn't typically think would be included in a journal. You can definitely try to use in the journal. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure you're subscribed to our channel and make sure you give us a big thumbs up, and we will see you again in the next video. Take care.